Hey there everyone, in this video I'm going to try to explain how to deal with the guild raids problem. Now what I mean by the guild raids problem is there's a lot of disruption in some guilds because you're actually competing inside your guild when facing a boss with the overall damage. You can see here Holy Orica, he's a good archer in our guild, and compared to some of the other people scoring, he's going to take first place every time. And as you can imagine, that can just upset some other guild members, create some envy, and you don't want that. You want to be a family and all get along. But what I'm going to talk about in this video is how actually, whether you position first or 35th, there's very little difference in the rewards you're getting. In fact, it only really matters about the number of lockboxes you're getting, and ultimately that won't even matter. So hopefully you'll agree with me by the end of this video, yeah, I'll try to explain it. So to start off with, we're going to try and eliminate some of the stats from this to make it simpler. So if we look here at the dragon stats, here we've got Flamewing health up by 10,000, and yeah, it's similar kind of stuff, the damage by 300. If we look at the absolute top rewards on the Platinum boss, let's just look at this best Fabled core one. Here we've got Tank Dragon health up by 10,000, Tank Dragon damage up by about 500. So if we look at, say you have, if you're going for these Fable ones, you have Mythic Dragons. Yeah, we're going to look at Flamewing here, which I have at Mythic. If we're saying 10,000 health, that is a tiny boost to the 7 million I've got on this. And 500 damage, that's like a 1% boost to the damage. Absolutely tiny. Really, those dragon stats are pitiful. They're not anything at all. Maybe with the dragon revamp, they'll mean something. But even then, Flamewing I can only bring out once every 2 hours. And even if I have the guild skills up at maximum, it's once every hour. They're not a huge bonus to your character, and in comparison to character stats, dragon stats just aren't really important. So I would just completely toss those aside, ignore the dragon stats completely, just look at the character stats. So yeah, we're going to look at the quality items. So on the bronze raid you can get fine quality, superior quality. Silver you get epic and legendary. It goes on like that, 2 qualities per one. And in fact, if you look at the damage stats, because that's what we're going to focus on most of all here, damage stat on a fine quality rune is about 125 average. We look at this one here. If you look here, there's like a ball type core. There's a ball with spikes, or sorry, a cube with spikes, and then we've got a cube with the sort of circle glowy bits on it. So the glowy bits are the better ones. The spiky ones are the next best, and then the circle ones are the one below that. You can equip 3 of each, and so what you want to look for the average is the spiky one, really. So here the damage looks about 125 on average. We look at superior quality, it's about 150, and then we go up to the next one. Epic is 200 and 175, 200, around about there. Oh, whoops. And legendary, we've got 225. So yeah, on the whole, that continues on through the gold boss as well. Basically, each quality adds about 25 more damage on. Not that significant. If you consider all 9 in total, 9 times 25, maths while I'm doing this, it's about sort of 250, 300 damage when you include the passive bonus. That's the kind of difference you're looking at, which is a fairly nice amount, but not game-breaking. And it's only on the Platinum boss where there's a huge jump in the damage, and they also add a load of other stats on. So yeah, those are actually really quite nice. But of course, you've got to do the Platinum boss, so that's kind of out of my range. But yeah, so there's a huge jump in the stats for the Platinum boss rewards. However, gold, silver, and bronze, they kind of stepped up a little bit. So yeah, the main thing here I'm talking about is comparing the epic to the legendary. If you look at the stats on this, it's towards 200 damage and about 3,300 armor, right? Now we compare it to the legendary version. Actually, let's get the exact legendary version. This one here. It's about 25 more damage, about 250 more armor, or a few hundred more armor. Not really much difference in stats, and that's what you're getting in first place compared to 35th. And yeah, really, if you've got a full set of legendary as opposed to a full set of epic, then there'll be a small boost. But is it really worth fighting over in a guild? Like, to be angry at the people who are getting first place because they're getting those legendary ones compared to the ones who are getting the epic ones? There is a slightly bigger difference if you're doing bronze because of the proportionately that little jump in damage is a little bit more. But yeah, really, in my mind, that's not worth it at all. It's better just to kind of face it and get what you can earn in your guild. Yeah, the stats aren't really that different. The sockets as well. If you look at all these, you get 1 star socket, 1 square socket, and if you go to the legendary, again you get 1 star socket, 1 square socket. You're not losing out there. The set bonuses, those are all dragon bonuses that are actually quite tiny, so they're not important. Yeah, really, I can't think of how better to put this, but really the rewards, it's just about the number of dragon cores you have, rather than actually the quality of them. Certainly not within the same boss. So if you look at my dragon cores here, you can fit 9 in total. So once I've got, say, all 9 as epic quality, getting a legendary one or whatever will boost my stats a tiny bit, but getting epic ones will just kind of keep them the same. So it's more about how fast I fill these 9 slots, and because the rewards are randomized, that may take a while if you're in the bottom 25 because you're only getting one lockbox each time. But yeah, so that's the main benefit of being in the top 10 in my mind, is you've got a higher chance of filling those 9 slots faster. But other than that, really the rewards between being in the top 10 and the bottom 25 aren't that different. Yeah, they're better. Okay, they're better, and I understand why that would make people annoyed or upset or whatever. But for the difficulty that it would be to rotate members around to get in the top 10, it's not worth it in my mind for the the better stats, because they are minuscule. So yeah, I hope that kind of explains it to people and convinces people, is what I mean, sorry, convinces people that really it's not worth putting in a rotation system or arguing over. And as long as you can convince the other members in your guild that really those rewards, the difference in rewards between the top 10 and the bottom 25 are very little, then hopefully you will have no problems in your guild. So yeah, I just want to look at the gold stats again. I can't remember exactly. So these have slight additional stats, but they don't really add in a lot. Okay, relic quality adds sort of parry, dodge, that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can get some better stats at higher qualities, and certainly if you were to do a platinum boss, there's a big difference between top 10 and bottom 25 there, because you're not going to be doing platinum boss every time. But for example, in a position which my guild is in, we are able to do the silver boss over and over and over without spending gems. So we will just be playing this boss over and over, so everyone can fill their sockets up, their slots up with epic quality dragon cores. So yeah, if I were you in your guild, try and organise to either do the silver boss over and over and over, or if you can't quite make that, do the bronze boss and repeat that, so everyone gets filled up with fine quality or epic quality dragon cores. Hopefully then you won't have any problems within your guild. Now, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say on that. What I'm going to go into now is a system of rotation which I've come up with along with Dr. Aegon. He's another forum user. I should probably attribute it to I'll attribute it to all the Bob officers. So that's Linda, Linda Love, Death, Power Slave. Shouldn't have gone that, Power Slave, and yeah, myself. We were coming up with a good system of doing it. So our system is, which you have to have good communication in the guild for this, just to say first. So you start a raid boss. You then have a look at the scores people are doing. Make everyone attack only once on the first day. At the end of the first day, then note down all the scores people do. Then categorize them. I just want to say first, I really failed this day. I died really early on, um, along with a few others. If you look at Greg here, 5 score, he he was really annoyed at that. But yeah, so distracted myself, sorry. So you look at the scores, you note them all down, you then group those people into different groups of 5. So 7 groups of 5 if you have a 35-player guild. And you'll have 3 groups, A, B, and C, where you separate the top scorers across those 3 groups, so that the total damage of them is roughly the same. Then you put everyone else into groups D, E, F, and G, which are the sort of lower scoring groups. Now, they're all groups of 5 each one. Now, when you start a raid boss, what you do is you say, okay, you pick one from A, B, and C, and one group from D, E, F, and G. So you'll say like A, G, or something. So the 5 people in group A and the 5 people in group G, they all play normally and score that time, and everyone else purposefully scores less, either by going in and not damaging the boss at all, or what's probably best is if they score a very small amount and make sure they're 11th or below. So yeah, basically then those 10 people from those 2 select groups get in the top 10, and then yeah, next time you do the same again. You say like B and E, and then those 2 groups, they both fight normally and place in the top 10. That's only possible if you have some strong enough people to be in those groups A, B, and C to take down the boss. And what I like about it especially is that with all these systems, you need to come up with something that's fair, but it's also nice to those people who actually are the big damage leaders, because in effect, for example here, Holy Orica, he is our biggest damage dealer. He's a powerful archer who can do tons of damage to the boss. And if we were then to say, oh, yeah, could you only get, top 10 once in every 5 weeks or something, that would kind of be a little bit harsh, because he's kind of got to give that up. And yeah, so what I like about this system is there are 3 powerful groups and there are 4 weaker groups. So the powerful groups, they get to score in 1 in every 3 guild raids, and the weaker groups is 1 in every 4. So if you're in one of those powerful groups, you're getting to place in the top 10 more frequently than the weaker people. So that kind of, but not by a massive amount. So that's a kind of fair balance. So it gives them a benefit of being one of the stronger players, but not a huge one. It's still fair overall. So that's why I like that system, and it's very probably quite difficult to implement and to carry out. But ultimately, that is the fairest system I can think of sharing out the top 10 rewards. But like I said, we've got a long time to do this boss. It's going to be around until March, which is 4 or 5 months. And that's at least until March. So 4 or 5 months doing this boss over and over and over. I'm pretty sure in that time, even if you're placing in the bottom 25, you'll get enough of these boxes to fill those 9 slots. And that's what matters, is filling those 9 slots with the quality of item from the boss which you're defeating. Doesn't matter if it's a legendary one or an epic one. Doesn't matter if it's a dragon specific one, or whether it's a type of dragon like tank, health, attacker, support. Just matters that those slots are filled with the quality of gear that your guild are fighting at. So I hope that is enough to convince you, and I hope that has cleared up the whole issue and has saved a few guilds from melting down. So yeah, that's that sorted. Just to say quickly before I end this video, I haven't done any PvP videos for a little while, and that's mainly because this PvP map, I haven't found it making creating situations which are really that noteworthy. So I haven't been having any good PvP matches, basically, even when I face some powerful people. I don't know why it is. I quite like the map. It might be because you can kind of go straight into people's spawn zones. But anyway, so I'll be making PvP videos again when the next map comes out in about a week, or a little bit over a week. So until then, I will say goodbye, and yeah, may bring out another video. I don't know. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.